Hey friends, Kevin Gehring here, your Sacramento, Stockton area realtor and lender here with this week's weekly real estate report for December 11th, 2020. Now I got to tell you, this week I actually could not wait for Thursday when I run my numbers because it has been such a crazy couple of months here. I never know what to expect right now. And so it's almost like unwrapping a bad Christmas present sometimes. But hey, let me show you the chart this week and let you take a look for yourself and see what's going on. All right, so we've been talking the last couple of weeks, or at least I've been talking about the fact that this green line, the amount of available homes, it has been historically low. It plateaued out, inverted plateau, and then it just continues to drop. And I've often said, I wonder how low it can go. I don't want to know now how long it can go because it's getting down there, which means there's just no inventory out there. Now, of course, a lot of this is just the seasonal drop off of people not wanting to sell their homes during the holiday season. I get that, but we started with such a low number already that it just continues to get worse. Now, let's take a look over here at the blue line, the pending home sales. Again, seasonally, we see a drop off this time of year. So we're seeing that seasonal drop off right now. But we still have a lot of people out there who have been waiting to buy a home. I know I have buyers out there. We're going to home after home after home. And the home is priced within a price range. We get there, there's so many people, they've driven the price way out of their price range. There's nothing you can do about it. So they're still out there looking. As a listing agent, I got multiple listings all across the Valley, Sacramento, even Discovery Bay. And bam, bring the house on the market and you bring it on for a price that makes sense, that is something that will appraise for, and people just show up saying, we'll pay more. We don't care. We need a house. So this is just driving prices up. I did not expect to see this gold line right here. Now keep in mind, this will get corrected. It could go up, it could go down. I just need to see what the numbers are next week that kind of finish off. But man, that is a huge jump in the median home sales price. I mean, look where it's come from just since, what do we got down here? Since around April right here, it has just been in this steady climb. Supply and demand, right? Look at where the sales are. Sales are not really slowing down at all. And this line's a little bit harder to see because of the wild swings. But you can see the pattern where it comes up and then down. We got up and then back down, which is kind of a weird one. And now we're just up and we're just staying up. And I think it's going to be that way for a while. Now, there's a lot of talk out there about what's going to happen. And there's a lot of talk about the fact that a lot of homes aren't on the market because there are renters in there. The renters aren't paying their rent, and the landlords or the owners, they want to get the house on the market. They want to sell. And especially now that they may have renters that are in there that aren't paying and they can't evict them. And so there's this talk of this surge of homes coming on the market. But at the same time, there's also talk about the fact that could be possible, but at the same time, it could also not be possible simply because the government is possibly going to come out and say, okay, another moratorium on evictions, or possibly they will do something financially and help keep people or give people money to help pay their rent and then thus alleviate that. So, I know we've got the new incoming administration talking about wiping out student loan debt, or some of the stuff I'm looking at, up to $50,000 worth of wiping out of student loan debts. For some people, that's definitely wiping out. Some people, that's not. So there's a lot of talk about the government throwing a lot of money around, which means that you really can't predict what's going to happen with potential foreclosures, evictions, or any of that. I guess if I had to put money on it, if I really had to bet money on what's going to happen, I would bet that we will not see what we saw back in the last crash, where all of these people were out of work, could not afford their homes, and lost them short sales foreclosures. I really think the government is going to step in at some point and find some sort of, I don't want to say solution, but at least not allow that to happen. Now, whether or not I'm for that or against that, that's a whole nother story. But I do think that that's going to be what happens. Possibly, and I think this might be the best way, is to actually force banks to work with homeowners without without the disaster that we had last time, where people would ask for a loan modification. They'd say, well, you can't have one because you're not late. So, or a short sale. No, yeah, we'll get to you in a year. I think we'll see a streamline of people wanting to do short sales, streamlining, and people who want a modification being able to do so. And I think that actually makes more sense, but that's me. So anyway, off on that rant. I'm sorry, but I know a lot of you are asking what's going to happen. All right. So what does that mean for home prices? Where do I see them going? I'm a little shocked that they continue to go up, but again, supply and demand, that does make sense. At some point, we're going to see this green line stop, reach another bottom, and turn around. When is that going to happen? Well, you know what? We could go back through all of these dates and kind of look. When does it drop, level off, and start to peak back up again? Well, January, February, March, about in March. Let's take a look at here. March. Let's take a look back over here. March. So guess what? About March, I expect we are going to see this line turn around and go the other way. We could also say, when does it reach the bottom? Well, let's look right here. Usually reaches the bottom right about the middle of December. Over here, about the middle of December. Over here, well, a little late there. So middle of December, yeah, we'll call it that. So that's why I started running these statistics. I can actually take a look and predict. It's not really a prediction if you actually just have the data that tells you what's going to happen, possibly. So actually, it is a prediction. So anyway, where do I predict this is going to go? Well, we're probably at the bottom if everything holds true, and we're going to see it hold until March, and then March things are going to start coming back out. It's going to be interesting what the blue line does, though, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to shop during that time, which is still going to keep prices going up. That's my prediction. Rates. So that was a lot to talk about. What are rates doing? Well, this week, rates actually held. Zero change according to Freddie Mac over the 30-year fixed rate, but rates remain incredibly low. It is not unheard of right now to see a 30-year fixed rate under 2%. 1.99 is kind of a common rate. Now, you're going to pay a lot of points to get that. And in order to determine if points are good or bad, it does take some calculation. For some people, it makes perfect sense. For others, it makes no sense. So what you have to do is you have to work out a break-even time, which is something that I work out for anybody wanting to refinance, find the sweet spot for them. So I tell you that to say, be weary and leery of just jumping on a rate for bragging rights. Hey, I got my 1.99. Maybe it wasn't a good deal for you, especially if you're thinking about selling or even doing another refinance, home improvement in the near future. At the same time, there are people who say, you know what, I got my loan and I paid zero out-of-pocket expenses, nothing. Well, that can be an even worse deal, especially for somebody who's looking at staying in their house long-term. You're actually going to pay way more for that freebies than you would have ever imagined. It's kind of like saying, well, it would be like financing your closing costs and hiding them in the rate is what happens. And you don't want to do that. The rate goes up and then you're basically paying for it for the next 30 years if you stay in the house. So bad deal. So anyway, that's what's going on this week. There's a lot going on. I'd love to share this information with you. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I will see you, at least I hope so, next week. Take care. Bye.